Hey guys, how you going? Hey guys, you worried about the effects of 5G radiation? Well, let me introduce you to the affiliate of this video. They're called EMF Harmonized, and they filter out the harmful RF waves that actually damage our DNA. Kids are also more susceptible to the RF waves than adults are, and what they do is EMFs clump together red blood cells and cause lots of problems. This technology prevents that. And as you can see, they have products for your phone, your tablet and your computer, as well as your body. You can actually buy these for your body. So if you'd like to help a fellow truther and help me out as well, please check out the affiliate link down below. They also actually have a video showing you the red blood cells, how they clump together with 5G radiation, and how this technology protects you from that. Okay guys, if you're interested, check out the affiliate link below. Thanks guys. Hey guys, before I start, I would like to thank Elaine. Thank you very much, Elaine. I really appreciate that. Thank you to all my PayPals and Patreons and everybody for just listening. Thank you very much, guys. Okay, now before I even start today, what I want to say is no matter what happens, stay calm. Okay, because panic is not going to help you or anyone else around you. There is a lot going on. Okay, let's start from Linwood at Linwood, at double L-I-N Wood, because there are apparently two people are coming up with fake accounts, so be careful of exactly who you follow in the at bit. So it's at double L-I-N Wood. Do you think there's sufficient irrefutable evidence on Anthony Weiner's laptops to support the indictment of many prominent politicians, officials and celebrities? Or is it just me? Fight back for every lie to be revealed. This one from Shirtless Pundit at Shirtless Pundit. Does anyone have any spare conspiracy theories? Mine are all coming true. I thought that was a good one and I had to just throw it in there because they are. Have you noticed? Oh, and we're a few months ahead of the news because we broke the laptop, the HB one, quite a few months ago or a few weeks ago. Now it's coming up in the mainstream news and people were deleted for it. So, yeah, okay. 72 seconds says at 55 true for you. Good morning, everyone. Watch the water. And I would agree with that because you'll see there's Pastor Mark Burns at Pastor Mark Burns says, breaking, President Trump will pardon Julian Assange. I've heard that way before. I heard that years ago, that he's safe, he's protected. This one from N1 Nasty One. One last post. YouTube was down at 9 hours ago. Here in Australia, it was last night. I noticed that too. Apparently it was worldwide. All I can say is be ready anytime now. I think it was like a practice run. Okay, that one was from N1 Nasty One at 1 NAASTY. Okay, from Dr. Russell McGregor at Kill AU Deep State. It's going to be a bad week for all the treasonous CCP-loving politicians, MSM and elites in Australia. Buckle up, guys. It's just about to kick off. Seriously. From Randy Quaid at Randy RR Quaid. Google was down for an hour and all was right with the world. Our reputations were, for a brief hour, returned to normal. The congested defamation cesspool evaporated. Alas, that hour is now past and we're once again mired in the sewage of big tech depravity. But God has a plan. Very interesting, I thought. Oh, Dr. Russell McGregor reports of YouTube coming back worldwide. Enjoy the show. Okay, from Corey Lynn at Corey's Digs. I'm going to tell you a little secret. There's a vaccine out there said to treat a virus based on a falsely created PCR test from a non-existent specimen, all of which has been derived from manipulated data involving deaths that weren't caused by said virus. Because this is nothing more. Do you know what an actual coronavirus is? Go and look it up. It's the flu. Okay. Dr. Russell McGregor. It's happening, Patriots. YouTube, Gmail, Google Docs, all were down. Massive outage worldwide. Were you guys prepared? And he spelt that with a Q. Yep, I'm ready. Anytime it wants to just kick off, I'm ready. I'm calm. When it does, just protect your family. Try and stay in. Don't go like. That's why I said yesterday or the day before. I read out a post that was just be prepared. Get a few things. Just get a few things extra, because we don't know what might go down. So, but I'd say 10 days max. But anyway, we'll see what happens. That's all we can do. From Murray at Rothbard 1776, let the record reflect that a real Donald Trump did everything in his power to be merciful. He issued multiple warnings to current and former government officials, the media and corrupt third-party actors. He gave them every opportunity to come clean and do the right thing. They chose poorly. So don't be surprised when they start getting arrested, because I think that's what's going to happen very, very shortly too. From the X22 report at X22 report, Trump will drip out the truth. Each drip will be pain. The question is, how much pain will the DS be able to take before the blackout? And this was from DJT. Why did the swing states stop counting in the middle of the night? At Maria Bartiromo, because they failed to find out how many ballots they had to produce in order to steal, They were so far behind, they needed time. And that water main break, which was a toilet, it was a very small leak, but they just made it huge, just to be able to shut it all down. Okay, Yig at Yig Star House. And Anon asked Dan Scavino to post a picture of an eagle a day before we hear the tweet. My fellow Americans. Much like being asked to use the phrase tip-top not too long ago. Or tippy-top. That's why Donald Trump said those words, is because he was asked to confirm things. Let's see what happens. Or, Mr. Clinton is dead, the eagle is on ice, or none of the above. This was the picture he tweeted. He was asked to tweet an eagle, he did, and the eagle is Clinton's Secret Service name, like Hillary's was Evergreen. Bill Clinton Eagle. The eagle has landed. While that might seem like a cliche line from some sort of action film, this was a reality for the Secret Service agents whose job it was to protect former President Bill Clinton. While many might assume Clinton was given the code name Eagle for patriotic reasons, there were also some other factors possibly at play. And that's all we've got there. This from Scott Fisherman at Scott Fisherman. I believe the same thing. Question of the day. Is influenza a coronavirus? Yes, it is. Go and have a look. Just go and look for yourself. I'm serious. It is. From Dave V at VLABS LLC. Software geek. Stalinist is more like it. Expose the truth about Fauci and Birx, Bill Gates and globalist elites. Let's have a look. Make it a bit bigger. Okay, President Donald Trump is fighting to find a medical solution for this in the short term, expressing hope that the anti-malaria drug can help patients suffering from this thing. I can't say too much because it'll get taken down. Even though everyone else is talking about it, if we talk about it, it gets taken down. The truth is that, that's why I code talk or don't say the words, but you can read them, hopefully. The truth is that President Donald Trump is locked in an intense power struggle with Bill Gates, who's pushing his vaccines, which may not be available to the public until after November's election. Gates has a lot of pull in the medical world. He has a multi-million-dollar relationship with Dr. Fauci, and Fauci originally took the Gates line, supporting vaccines and casting doubt on chloroquine. Coronavirus response team member Dr. Deborah Birx, appointed by former President Obama to serve as United States Global AIDS Coordinator. See how all these things lead back to the same... Okay, she was the Global AIDS Coordinator, and now the vax is testing positive for AIDS, HIV. Makes sense, doesn't it? Also sits on the board of a group that has received billions from the Gates Foundation. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation recently provided funding to both IHME and Imperial College London, which put out wildly overblown models for the outbreak that caused mass panic and contributed to worldwide government lockdown. Gates is a big proponent for a population lockdown scenario for the outbreak. I'm trying not to say it. What's this? Drink Kofifi. National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease, a division of National Institute of Health, Director Dr. Anthony Fauci, who's represented by the Orem Speakers Bureau, initially criticised Trump's hopeful assessment of that drug, saying in an interview with CNN's Anderson Cooper, "There's no magic drug for this right now," and lectured, "Let me put it into perspective for the viewers. There's been anecdotal, non-proven data that it works, but when you have an uncontrolled trial, you can never definitely say that it works." Yeah, well, I'll tell you it works. Anyway, I'm not allowed to say that. My video will get taken down. Okay, Fauci then changed his tune and launched a public relations campaign huddling closer to Trump. Fauci said he would definitely prescribe that for patients. Yeah, of course, particularly if people have no other option. These drugs are approved drugs for other reasons. They're anti-malaria and they're drugs against certain autoimmune diseases like lupus. Physicians throughout the country can prescribe it in an off-label way, which means they can write it for something that was not approved of. Fauci makes his hostility toward the Trump-touted way clear. First of all, this is a brilliant idea at Kilmeade to study how many people have taken that good drug long-term have contracted the virus. Maybe even have them take an antibody test. Second of all, Dr. Fauci doesn't want to prescribe, but it's fine if Spain does it. Fauci is pushing the talking point that things will never go back to normal in our society until we have the ability to mass vaccinate people, echoing Bill Gates' assertion that mass gatherings in our culture may not come back at all before mass vaccinations. Bill Gates is not a doctor, or a virologist, or an immunologist. He made computers and computer programs. And that was interesting because the actual name coronavirus was also a computer virus. Funny that. I'm just mentioning it because I reported on it way back in the middle of all this, and no one really, some people realised what I was doing, how this could be anything, guys. They are totally playing us. Anyway, from Jennifer Franco, new Dr. Anthony Fauci returned to normalcy from pandemic. If back to normal means acting like there was never a problem, I don't think that's going to happen until we do have a situation where you can completely protect the population. So he's swinging back and forth. That's what he's doing. Fauci downplayed the threat of this on January 21st in a Newsmax TV interview, saying this is not a major threat for the people in the United States And this is not something that the citizens of the United States right now should be worried about. Since then, it has exploded in the United States, boosting demand for a vaccine. Oh dear. I can see how they're just trying to lead people, and they're... Oh, seriously. Even this, the nationalfile.com, exposing the truth about Fauci, Birx and Gates, is saying that the coronavirus has exploded in the United States. Yeah, I don't think it's anything worse than... To be honest, look at what the influenza is, what family it's from. And most flus are from this family. Fauci said later that people would not have to change their daily activities as a result of this outbreak. This one from Patrick Howley. It's time to fire Fauci, Mr. President. The people demand it. Because he's got no idea. Is he even a doctor? Like, really? Is he even a doctor? Or is he handed like a... just handed his qualifications? That makes me wonder, guys, if these people are even doctors. That's how much they've lied to us. When you realise how much they've lied to us, you won't trust them. You won't trust anything they're saying. But Fauci's NIAID actually funded a study on bat coronavirus, which was a project that included scientists at the Wuhan Institute of Virology, the lab at the centre of the controversy over their bat research. That study confirmed in 2018 that humans have died from this virus. Oh, far out. I don't even want to read this. It's just like... Can someone please get a grip? Here's an excerpt from the 4th of April 2018 NIAID website entry entitled New Virus Emerges from Bats in China. Yeah, right. A newly identified virus that kills nearly 25,000 piglets in 2016. 17 emerged from horseshoe bats near the origin of the severe acute respiratory syndrome virus, which emerged in 2002 in the same bat species. The new virus is named swine acute diarrhea syndrome. Okay, I'm not even going to read this because this is just like, seriously? If you want to read this, I'll put the links down below. This is absolute rubbish. From 3 days, 3 nights, they just say, really? Rise and Rise Again at Rise and Rise AGA2 says, so there's a winter storm named Flynn approaching. Interesting. Guys, buckle up. Flynn? A winter storm? They always give these storms and even hurricanes, cyclones and all, they give them... Why do they give them human names? Anyway, there's a storm coming. Flynn. Storm Flynn. From The Australian, an American economist nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize has called for the head of the World Health Organization to be prosecuted for genocide over his alleged involvement in ordering Ethiopian security service actions that include murder and torture. And I can't read that because it is behind a paywall. I have to pay to get it, and I'm not going to. So, but anyway, the WHO chief may face genocide charges. It doesn't matter if I don't read it anyway, because I've got a whole lot to get through, guys. It's happening quicker and quicker, and there are some things that I am sitting back on and watching, like the Chinese troops on the Canadian border. I won't report on it until I know more. I'm trying to keep it. I haven't seen anything about it. I'm trying to keep an eye on it, but it could be... like a sidetrack, a way to sidetrack people to focus on that. And don't fear. No matter what happens, don't fear. Even if you're in a country you think is lost, hang in there, guys. Just hang in there. As I said, if you can, pretty much just look after your family and yourself, people around you, even elderly neighbours. If you have elderly neighbours and this all kicks off, please tell them to stay calm. Just tell them it's going to be all right. If they're on their own, I don't know whether you can invite them into your house or have someone sit with them, but just Just look after each other, guys, and hang in there, because it will be okay. From Major Patriot, at Major Patriot, I simply observe things. 4 days ago, we learned Hunter Biden is under federal criminal investigation for money laundering. Today, we learned that the US Treasury Department has been breached by hackers backed by a foreign government. Oh, look, what agency is part of the US Treasury Department? US Treasury, Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. The mission of Financial Crimes Enforcement Network is to safeguard the financial system from illicit use, combat money laundering, and its related crimes including terrorism, and promote national security through the strategic use of financial authorities and collection, analysis and dissemination of financial intelligence. Oh, my stomach's doing it again. I forgot to have breakfast. It's 9 a.m. in the morning here in Australia. It is freezing where I am. Oh, well, it's not freezing. It's like 13, 14 degrees. Maybe 12. I haven't checked this morning. But it's cold. It's summer and it's cold. And that's Celsius, degrees Celsius. So it kind of sounds to me like the weather's sort of shifting back to normal here. I think some of the machines are being turned off. You know, those heaters. Nobody at Apollo _WA. What do you think all these peace deals have been about? Aligning the whole planet for the shift that's about to occur. China mucked around and they're about to find out. Why do you think Kim Jong is all of a sudden just folded in POTUS first year? Oh, Kim Jong-il. Okay. Why do you think Kim Jong just all of a sudden folded in POTUS's first year? Why did Chairman Xi have dinner with Trump in the Forbidden City? It's all about exposure. They're talking about it. Expose yourself or go down. And who knows what side any of these people are on until it does all come out. This one, we are about to go after the tippy top of the global power structure of which China, Iran and others are only a proxy. This is all bigger than anyone can imagine. Luckily, that real Donald Trump has prepared for this for years. Trust the plan, enjoy the show. And this is what we've seen before. Stay with me, deplorables. You'll love how this movie ends. And it does seem like a movie. It really does. The more I see, the more I think. It doesn't even look real anymore. It really doesn't. It looks like a movie. Mark Taylor at Patton 6966, D-Day. General Gustav Perner calls the beginning of vaccination distribution D-Day, invoking World War II. D-Day in military designates the day the mission begins. D-Day was the beginning of the end, and that's where we are today. And I won't play that because I've got so much to get through, guys. From Sydney Powell at Sydney Powell, phone calls, letters, newspapers, Trump parades, peaceful protests, swarm the state capitol and Congress. Talk to your friends, family. Nothing should be hidden. If they are hiding, they are lying. All the media, social media, globalist elite, businesses are against us. Save the USA. And this was in reply to, so how do we rise up? What do we do? Give some suggestions. Write letters, make phone calls, email someone. What? What can we do to help? We stopped watching Fox News and went to Newsmax. Help us help you. And that's when she said, and this Sydney Powell, phone calls, letters, newspapers, Trump parades, peaceful protests, swarm the state capitol, talk to your family, friends, nothing should be hidden. And that's why I don't like the Freemasons. It's not that I don't like the people, because I believe the people at the lowest levels don't actually know what's going on. They just join a club, brotherhood, you know. But anything that has secrets can't be good. And they do have secrets. And they also do help each other around the world to slide into positions of power and things like that. So I know some people don't believe that the Freemasons are part of this, or, you know, some people may be Freemasons themselves. I've got nothing against them. It's just that the lower levels do not know what the higher levels are doing. And the lower levels are normally used by the higher levels. So it's a brotherhood, all right. From Lynn Wood, at Lynn Wood again. Truth. And she's replying to Robbie Starbuck. Bill Gates is not a medical professional. Bill Gates is not an epidemiologist. Bill Gates is not a doctor. Bill Gates is acting for his own benefit. Bill Gates is a corporate oligarch. Bill Gates is a globalist. Bill Gates does not care about you. Bill Gates does care about power. That is so true. He has no qualifications to be pushing any vaccine. Just as much as I have, and my videos got taken down, so there you go. I think I'll call myself Dr. Hev from now on. Dr. Hev speaking. Because Jill Biden's now a doctor. You can just apparently call people doctors and automatically they're now doctors. So if Jill Biden's a doctor, yeah, I'm a doctor. Yeah. Yeah. Awakened outlaw at Awakened Outlaw. Misled investigators? He lied to them. Prince Andrew misled the BBC when he said he didn't stay at Epstein's home in 2001 report. When was this from? 2020. Okay, it's recent. Let's have a look. And we already know this. Prince Andrew told the BBC he wasn't staying at Epstein's home when he was accused of groping a woman with a puppet of himself, but 2 nights later on the same trip he did. Prince Andrew's relationship with dead pedophile Jeffrey Epstein, which remains to be seen, was back under the microscope Sunday evening after British newspaper The Daily Mail revealed that Andrew was misleading when he told the BBC he did not stay at Epstein's house when he was in New York in April 2001. He was questioned on camera by Emily Maitlis of the BBC about his movements during the 3-day trip because one Epstein victim, Joanna Joberg, had previously accused Andrew of a bizarre groping incident at Epstein's home involving a splitting image puppet on the trip. Another Epstein victim, Virginia Roberts Guthrie, claims that it was after the groping incident that she was ordered to have sex with Andy. When Andrew was interrogated by Maitlis on camera about Joberg's, I hope I'm saying that right, allegation, he conceded that he might have visited the property during the trip but denied staying there. Andrew said in a stumbling reply, "I probably did. Because of what I was doing, I was staying with the Consul General, which is further down the street on 5th, so I wasn't staying there. I may have visited, but definitely didn't. Definitely no activity." Yeah, that's sounds like he's got a stutter. Sorry, I'm nothing against anyone who stutters. I just know that he doesn't, but it sounds like he's got one. That normally means deception. However, the Daily Mail, quoting an official itinerary, reports that Andrew's official schedule specifies that on the last night of his American trip, he was staying at a private address. The Mail says that address was Epstein's home near Central Park, citing confidential sources. It adds that a British police bodyguard also spent the night at Epstein's townhouse, the largest private residence in the city. The Mail adds that well-placed sources and sources close to Andrew are now conceding that he did stay there and are now making the argument that he stayed there to save taxpayers' money. On the record, Andrew's team told the Mail it would not be appropriate to comment on any of these matters, of course. The revelation is due to be published in Monday's paper as the latest instalment of the Mail's renewed investigation of Andrew's links to Epstein. The investigation has already called into question Andrew's famous pizza alibi. The Mail also reports on a gap of a few hours set aside in New York for what was called private time in the Duke's confidential tour itinerary. It alleges that this private time slot coincides with the time he allegedly had sex with Roberts Guthrie at Epstein's. This was allegedly on April 9th after the puppet groping incident. The Mail also alleges that on April the 9th, David Rogers, Epstein's pilot, flew into Teterboro Airport on Epstein's Gulfstream business jet, and that the passengers aboard Flight 1488 included Epstein, Robert Guthrie, and a young woman named as Joanne in the log, who is believed to be Johanna Joberg, then 21. Although the Mail suggests that Andrew may have met Epstein and the woman during the time marked private time, it notes that on the night Andrew actually stayed at Epstein's house, April 11th, the last night of his trip, they had all already left the city before Andrew arrived. Joberg recalled the bizarre groping episode in a deposition she gave under oath in 2016. She also said Andrew had been given the splitting image puppet of himself as a joke by Ghislaine Maxwell. She said, "I just remember someone suggesting a photo and they told us to get on the couch. And so Virginia and Andrew sat on the couch and they put the puppet on her lap. And so I sat on Andrew's lap, I believe of my own violation, and they took the puppet's hand and put it on Virginia's breast, and Andrew put his on mine." And that's the end of the story. Stories, yes. Okay, Annie Creswick at A Creswick says someone's in deep doo-doo. And she got, in reply to Bush Washington at Bush Washington 1, that's Justice Roberts at Epstein Island. I remember this photo and I couldn't work out who was who other than Clinton. Who's that? Okay, if you can name them, well done. Oh dear. And this is part of the flight log, is it? John Roberts. There you go. Okay, from Sydney Powell. That's Sydney Powell again. 1. If you are not demanding truth and transparency in this election and all voting machines, you are part of the problem. Patriots must rise now and demand the truth. Truth and freedom won this election. It's about the very survival of this republic. We must keep it. At POTUS. There are but two parties now, traitors and patriots. I will not sit down, I will not shut up, and I will not comply. I am an American and I'm sick of the corruption in DC. And I could say that for Australia too. I will not sit down and I will not shut up and I will not comply. I'm an Australian. America's little brothers and sisters. Okay. From Rudy Giuliani, at Rudy Giuliani. Don't let them push this off on Hunter. The boss is Joe Biden. He got 50% of all the illegal millions for 30 years. All in the written text in the hard drive. I've got it. And he was, because on the Hunter Biden laptop, when some of that was leaked, it did say that Hunter had to give 50% to his dad. Okay. And this is from a while ago, but okay, let's have a look. I'm not sure if I've read this one. It's time. If you've read my previous Antarctica digs, you'll know there's a seeming hyper interest in the area by the world elite. In the current era, it dates back to Hitler and his obsession with the occult and its effect on Nazi Aryan dynasty. I'll touch briefly on Nazi landing and base, but that's not the primary direction of this thread. Admiral Byrd ran into some pretty crazy difficulties down there as well during Operation High Jump. If we take away the flying discs, he still had to deal with the temps and crazy issues that minus 60 degrees cold brings to everything. The Nazis surveyed and many believe found there was an opening to a lush hidden world, an area called New Schwabenland. I have the original Nazi map I'll include along with my own mock-up of it on Google Earth so we can compare it with modern things. Okay, this will be the mock-up on Google Earth, and that's it on the old map. There's supposedly an opening to this base 211 in the Smarthen mountain range. Smarthen. You can correct me down below, guys. I'll include a picture out of a book I have that gives this information. Again, marked on Google Earth, notice the proximity to Norwegian troll station. And guys, if I did look all this up on how to pronounce everything on Google, my videos would take 8 hours instead of 4 or 5 to make. I really don't have the time, so please excuse me if I'm not pronouncing words properly. At the moment, I'm just trying to get the news out. This is Smarthen mountain entrance to Nazi base 211. The same mountain entrance to Nazi base 211. Empire beneath the ice, how the Nazis won World War II. And what was the connection between New Schwabenland and the Station 211? That Admiral Dunce referred to in his speech above New Shangri-La. My goodness, I'm really having trouble talking this morning, guys. Many have come to suspect that the secret base in New Schwabenland and the Station 211 that Admiral Donitz referred to in his speech were one and the same thing. Lecturer historian Jerry E. Smith has noted about his study of the history of Station 211. Most of the rumours agree that Station 211, if it really existed, was located inside a prominent ice-free mountain in the Mullig-Hoffman Mountains of New Schwabenland, Queen Maud Land. During the period between 1956 and 60, a Norwegian expedition mapped most, and that was the end of that. Okay, more info for the above tweet, too much to fit into one. Oh, and some of it's just blacked out. Why? Google Earth does that. When they don't want you to see something, they black it out too. Also notice that the preponderance of bases located within the Nazi mapped area seem to be predominantly blonde and blue types. I don't think it's anything in particular, but something of interest to note given the Nazi preoccupation with that ideal racial type. Then we get to Admiral Byrd and Operation High Jump. More specifically, his supposed diary of said operation and its results. His death not long after, and the odd contents of his diary have been the speculation of conspiracy theorists for decades now. But if we have learnt anything in the past 2 years, conspiracy theory is not a bad word. It just means more digging is needed. And I can see more than probably 8 conspiracy theories that are turning out to be true. But yeah, there's a lot. That's why the news is going to fail, because they don't bring you the truth. They bring you the agenda that whoever is above them needs. And right now it looks like China. And whoever's above them now, it'll be the same people. Now you are saying, okay, that's cool and all, but we know all of that. We expect better of you, Dano. Alas, I'm aware of this, but I come bearing gifts, I swear. No rotten tomatoes yet. Now, before we go any further, all of the Google Earth stuff that you will see in this thread are images and locations of my own work. Meaning I took the time to plot and verify the location of each and everything I have tagged as a point in these maps. As far as I know, this may be the most complete mapping of points in Antarctica. I looked for months for something like it and couldn't find anything, so I decided to make my own. I will share the Google Earth KML file with you all here so that you can apply it to your own copy of GE and play with it at your leisure. This is a link to my non-Google Drive where I have all my shareable stuff stashed. This goes directly to the Antarctica KML file, which should be fully up to date. I have to go and have a look at that and dig in. Okay, moving on. Do I think any of the above has anything to do with what I'm going to show below? Other than the search for the occultic unknown, no. New Schwabenland is too far out of the way by hundreds of miles to even be part of what I bring forth below. Before I get going too much on the new stuff, let me say this has taken me well over 6 months to get the point of being able to write this. Ever since my first dig on Antarctica, I've had a suspicion that something big was down there. Something inherently evil. And Dano, I can say we appreciate your digging. I can certainly say that I appreciate your digging. In fact, I was on the verge of going further on that original dig, but something kept me from doing so. I was sort of freaked out about it, to be honest. My dig buddies will attest to this as we talked about it. I decided to walk away for a while. I'm glad that I did, as the extra time let me approach the problem from another few angles, and I have resolved it to my own satisfaction. I was right, but not in the way that I was originally thinking, and I think now is the time for this to come out. Back then it was too early. So after 6 months, let's move onward. Let's stay in the modern discovery era of Antarctica. Specifically, let's focus on Mount Erebus, the most active volcano in Antarctica, one of only 5 volcanoes in the world with an active lava lake, and the focus of seeming interest of many elites. Instead of talking, I'll let a wiki screen cap do the work. Mount Erebus is noted for its active anorthoclase feldspar phonolite lava lake, that's a mouthful, which has been in continuous activity since at least 1972, but probably much longer. Mount Erebus volcano lava lake is connected to a long-lived open and stable magma pluming system, which might have been in place for the past 17,000 years. The current activity at the lava lake includes splattering and sometimes strombolian explosions that can eject bombs outside the crater. Persistent lava lakes are very rare and require a delicate equilibrium between heat supply and heat loss. Oh, light bulb moment, light bulb. Heat supply is provided by rising magma gases from the magma chamber through a liquid-filled conduit, and counterbalanced by intense heat lost at the surface of the lava lake. There are only a handful of long-lived lava lakes in the world. At Outages volcano, Ethiopia, I can't pronounce these, DR Congo, and Vanuatu, often on Kilauea volcano in Hawaii, and only occasionally on other volcanoes. Okay, are you interested in what my light bulb moment was? This activity has been, since 1972, but probably much longer. What if they use volcanic heat as a heating source? And for it to... Persistent lava lakes are very rare and require a delicate equilibrium between heat supply and heat loss. Think of climate change. Is there a reason? That's all I'm going to say. I don't know for sure. I'm going to have a really good dig on it, but something clicked there. And I've got to think about that a bit more too before saying any more. Now, Erebus is an interesting name. Let's see what the dictionary.com has to say about its meaning. A personification of darkness in Greek mythology. A place of darkness in the underworld on the way to Hades. A personification of darkness and a place of darkness in the underworld on the way to Hades? Interesting. Let's continue. Mount Erebus was discovered on January 27, 1841 and observed to be an eruption by polar explorer Sir James Clark Ross on his Antarctic expedition, who named it and its companion Mount Terror after his ships HMS Erebus and HMS Terror, which were later used by Sir John Franklin on his disastrous Arctic expedition. Present with Ross on HMS Erebus was the young Joseph Hooker, future President of the Royal Society and close friend of Charles Darwin. Erebus is a dark region in Hades in Greek mythology, personified as the ancient Greek primordial deity of darkness, the son of chaos. As noted above, the continual lava lake in Mount Erebus is one of only 5 in the world. So in the personification of darkness and a place of darkness on the way to the underworld, we have a lake of fire. Oh, did I mention that it's at the bottom of a pit? What do you think that the bottom of its crater is? And it happens to be at the bottom of the world too. Is this starting to ring any bells yet? I sure am hoping so, and yes, there are images of Mount Erebus lava lake. Wow. Some other interesting bits about Mount Erebus. Recently, geologists spent tens of millions of dollars in seismically mapping the mountain. This was done by laying hundreds of sensors about 6 foot long all over the mountain in a grid pattern. This was covered in one of the many Antarctic specials I found on the History Channel, and I can't for the life of me remember which one. If any of you figure it out, please let me know. I'd like to add it as source. Now, why would they go to that effort for this mountain, which has little to no effect on humanity, even when there are hundreds of other volcanoes that have not had an internal survey at this level of detail done ever? I mean, hello, Mount St. Helens. I know they haven't done that there. I'll post a video later that explains part of what I think they are looking for and how it's archived. Fumaroles. But I think they are trying to map the passages within the mountain itself. We have been all but told that they are there. Oh, fumaroles, yeah. Oh, wow. Do you know that would be one interesting place to... not while there's anything evil down there, though. I don't want to visit it while there's anything down there. Another thing of interest is that the main US base, McMurdo Station, is only 22 miles away, the closest base to the mountain. Also notice how chopped up the satellite imagery is in the Mount Erebus area. Think that there are things to hide there? They do that, yep, they always do it. Wow, that's really choppy. It's normally not that bad. They just like fuzz things right out normally, but blur it right out. But now this looks... What is this? Wow. Okay, now let's move on to the other side of the continent. But at the other end of the same mountain chain that comprises Mount Erebus and the backbone of the continent. Goes all the way from Trinity Church, past Rothschild Island, past the Temple of One, down to Mount Erebus. Have you heard of the Ark of Gabriel? No, neither had I until recently, but its appearance occasioned some pretty spectacular meetings and trips of some unlikely people to land way down under Antarctica. A couple of articles that will get you up to speed on what's happening there. For Russia's church leader, a trip to Antarctica is not just a photo op. It's also some boots on the frozen ground for Moscow. Washington Post. And it was not the only thing. Didn't the Pope and Russia's church leader meet down there? So we have the Patriarch Kirill of the Eastern Orthodox Church meeting with the Pope for the first time in 1,000 years, yes. And then immediately departing and taking this Ark of Gabriel with him to Antarctica, theoretically to the only consecrated church on that continent, the Trinity Church. How does this tie in with Mount Erebus? Let's take a look at some interesting geology and topography of the area. There is basically a mountain range that runs the entire width of Antarctica, from Mount Erebus on one end to the top of the Antarctica Peninsula on the other end. The Russian church is on the Antarctic Peninsula. I'll mark it plainly on the map for all to see so that you get an idea of what we're talking about. There's the Trinity Church and the Temple of One again. Now we have two ends. What's in the middle? Well, funny you should ask. If you read both of my previous digs on Antarctica, you'll know that right smack dab in the middle is one of the pyramid mountains that exist down there. Yes, there are pyramids, and no, they are not. I don't believe they are organic structures. But I don't know. I could be wrong. But it goes even deeper than that. Remember the mention of Buzz Aldrin and his trip, and then the tweet, "We are all in danger, it is evil itself"? For the sake of argument, I'm going to accept that it's a genuine tweet. There has been some conjecture that it was a hoax, but I've yet to see anything concrete on that. And that was the tweet. We're all in danger, it's evil itself. Funnily enough, Google Earth even has a name tagged for that pyramid. Temple of One. Wait, what? The Temple of One? What the... Over... Temple of One. There you go. As discussed in my previous thread, this temple has near it the only 2 privately owned blue ice runways on the entire continent. It's private and private. Part of that can be explained away by the fact that the highest mountain in Antarctica is only 90 miles away, but the peak-conquering drive of mountaineers can't justify the expense of 2 blue ice runways. On the other hand, if the company provides logistical support for free, they can justify anything they want. Oh, looky there. And yes, these are the guys that run those 2 runways. Dig on the website and you'll see. Our company, Antarctic Logistics and Expeditions LLC, offers air transportation, logistics support and guided experience for those venturing to the interior of Antarctica. In 1985, our predecessor Adventure Network International pioneered private flights to Antarctica for an ascent of Mount Vinson. More than 30 years later, we remain the most experienced private operator on the continent, with an impeccable safety record, a strong environmental ethic, and a desire to share the white continent with other passionate explorers. Really? Who's on the team? Owners, ALE Partners, have been active in the Antarctica since the late 70s. In 2003, 5 partners came together to establish ALE and to purchase ANI. Over the following years, ALE has grown to be the premier deep field. Mike Sharp, he's retired, and his partnership was taken over by Parler Holdings AG. Salt Lake City team. Okay, definitely going to have to dig more into that. Okay. It's going to be long enough as it is, guys. I don't want to dig right now, but I'll just read this out. We'll see what we can do. Now let's pop back to Mount Erebus. Then Secretary of State John Kerry made a trip down to Antarctica immediately after the 2016 loss by Hillary Clinton. One of his stops was Mount Erebus. I've actually gotten my hands on his Fitbit heat map trap of the time he spent down there. Wow. He went to there, he's been up here, he's been over, is that right? I hope I'm seeing right. I think they're red parts. And here and all the way down and there and back, or God knows. There's got to be something there, guys. There is something there. Wow. Huh. Taking a tour, are we? So why on Earth, no pun intended, would such a high-ranking US government official head down that way at that time to then travel to the crater of Mount Erebus? Sacrifice it all? Well, take a look at this video and tell me if it puts you in mind of a fictional mountain description. And there is a YouTube link here, which I will just put all the links down below, guys, and you can go and watch it yourself. It looks like Ross Island, Antarctica, after last year's 5-month trip, virtually around all the exotic something or other. I am, of course, referring to Mount Doom in The Lord of the Rings, where Frodo and Gollum end up to destroy the one true ring via a passage through the side of the crater wall. They end up in an area where they can access the Lake of Fire written about in the 1940s. Now, did Kerry go down there to rid themselves of the One Ring? No, of course not. What I do think he did do, and many other Cabal did before him, is consult with the being that is chained in the Lake of Fire in the bottomless pit at the bottom of the world. A stretch? Maybe. Satan, Beelzebub, Baal, Moloch, the devil, whatever you want to call him, he is real and he exists. He is king of this world via God, and until God comes back, his will has been law. But he has been restrained, chained, and kept from exercising his full might. So we have an extremely powerful holy relic, the Ark of Gabriel, located at one end of this mountain chain. In the centre of this chain we have the pyramidal temple of One that sent Buzz Aldrin into a medically induced evacuation from the continent, stating we're all in danger, it's evil itself. Possibly a good place to have evil chained at the Temple of One. Then at the far end we have Mount Erebus with all its odd coinkydinks. A mountain chain that also happens to look a lot like a snake, which by itself doesn't mean much, but coupled with all of this other stuff, put all of it together and I have to wonder, what on earth is really going down down there? It can't be good. Rothschild Island at the Ark of Gabriel end of the continent. Yes, it's real. Yes, it's named. Yes, it's spooky. There are even guided boat tours of Cabal types down in that area who perform art and such on board these boats as they visit Antarctica. Okay. It brings together artists, scientists and thinkers on a ship travelling around Antarctica. Oh dear God. Look where these thinkers have got us so far. And look who is a trustee. Marina Abramovic. Or Abramovic, depending on which way you say it. Hey, there's a Branson there. Any relation? Anna Summers. Okay, I'm not going to say that last name. Alfred, and I can't say that last name. I can't say half of these. But anyway, Anisimova. Bazanova, Strone, Friedland, Loshak, Sam Keller. Wow, let's talk quickly about preterism. Basically, it's the biblical belief that revelations has already occurred, either fully or partially. It is a small group that believes this, but there are biblical scholars who ascribe to this thought process. I'm one of them. I think we're quite a way into the book of Revelations, and that the beast system, we've already been going through it. The only thing is the mark in the hand, which could be considered phones and chips and bank cards, and you're tracked everywhere you go. But yeah, with that said, that means that our basic understanding of Revelations, and specifically the timelines contained therein, could be flawed badly. Remember, it's important to keep an open mind about much of this. We don't know what our understanding has been contaminated by. Well, that's why I think church, that's why I don't go to church. I don't want someone else to tell me what they think or what we're supposed to think about the Bible. I wanted to read it myself, and that's how I came to the conclusion that we are well into the book of Revelations, more than anyone realises, I think, and maybe not these people the scholars who are studying it. Does this rearrange some biblical order? Yes, it does. But we know that the Bible has been tampered with to a large degree over the years, so we have to accept that things might not be exactly as we think them to be. But I'm betting they're close. Let's also draw some similarities from the Lord of the Rings. The Balrog was contained within the Moira, a mining city colony, deep underground in the middle of a mountain chain, Mount Doom, and its forge of fire. Remember, there is truth in fiction and myth. Can I draw any hard conclusions from these discoveries? Well, a couple. I fully believe that Satan, or whatever we are going to call evil, is alive, but constrained as described in the Bible in the pit. We have the passage to Hades and the underworld with its lake of fire. We also have this supposedly incredible powerful artifact down there now. Put it all together and it looks like we just need Frodo and Samwise to get the job done. But as much as I'd like to keep this light-hearted, I believe it's deadly in reality. Thank you for reading. As always, please check out my pinned tweet for other interesting digs, and feel free to follow me. I will follow back all patriots, most of the rest of you too. And that's it. By the some added pictures just for emphasis. An unusual trip to Antarctica by John Kerry and Tom Hanks and Prince Harry. None of those people are good people. And that's just a map of everything that's down there. I don't even know if that's everything. But you've got everyone, every country is down there with, and if you read WikiLeaks, it says they started colonies down there in the 1950s. I actually read the WikiLeaks that states it. So far, I haven't seen WikiLeaks to be wrong. But it remains to be seen. I could be wrong. Wow. All these countries have pieces. Oh my goodness. Okay. Wow. Like, I knew this, but I mean, it's just, I want to know what it is. See, I think they would be able to draw heat from this too. Ross Island. Mount Erebus. Oh, okay. So is that the mountain range? Looks like there's a couple of them. Goes across, but it also looks like that's slightly uplifted there as well. Oh yeah, because this is a mountain, so yeah, it's downhill. Yeah, okay. Adding my previous Antarctica threads for ease of access to everyone. Antarctica, something admittedly spooky about the place, and no, I'm not going. Okay. And there's more digs. Okay. So that was pretty interesting. Let me know what you think down below, guys, because I found that really interesting. From Rob Trajeski at Robirdie777. If China has infiltrated the US and its top Congress, can you imagine how deep they are in Australia? I can. And from N1 Nasty One at 1 Nasty. 1. I called out Lord Malloch Brown and Smartmatic 3 years ago. 2. I also called out Luciferus was going to be used to mark us through vaccines, mark of the beast. 3. I've also stated that the Holy Roman Empire still rules this world. 4. I've exposed human experiments of human and animal hybrids chimera. I predicted these years ago, and the truth is finally coming to light. Create human-mouse hybrids. Here's how. Japanese government on July 24th to move forward with an experiment that will put a type of human stem cells that can grow into almost any cell, into animal embryos. Our governments now have the tech to install diseases, cancers and other illnesses into us through vaccines, whether that is before birth, after birth, or as an adult. And this from Lynn Wood. Truth. Tony College, everything is about to change. Be not afraid. Please don't be afraid. And it's going to look pretty scary, but please don't. Just stay with your family. Stay inside. Stay safe. Spencer Smith, breaking news. Australia just cancelled an order of 51 million doses of a particular COVID vaccine in trials from a company named CSL because those that were taking it were testing positive for HIV afterward. See thread. Australia cancels order for vaccine as trial stumbles. Why Australia just cancelled an order for 51 million doses. And people are still stating false positives, not actually positives, but Do you believe the mainstream media when they tell you it's given people false positives? Do you believe them on anything else? Then why would you believe it's a false positive? That's all I'm going to say. I'm not saying I'm right. I just don't trust the media at all. Okay, Patriot, RT'd by Sydney Power. Things are about to heat up. Boom. This leak of CCP members is infiltrating US is no accident. This is a calculated leak to expose all the DS. The storm is here. And that is from Sydney Powell retweeted it. From ya-da-da-dee-da at ya-da-da-dee-da 1. Lynn Wood stated on Newsmax that real Donald Trump should declare martial law. What do you guys think about that? It's going to happen. And this, the Dirty Truth Josh at aka_real_dirty. Sydney Powell explains more about the 4 cases, but I will let you go and look at that yourself. I'm trying to get this so much here. It's happening really quick. It's coming out. There's going to get to a point where I can only report on some things and other people are going to have to report on other things. And guys, honestly, get YouTube channels going. Everybody start reporting on everything. In the beginning of change, the patriot is a scarce man, brave, hated and scorned. When his cause succeeds, however, the timid join him, for then it costs nothing to be a patriot. Mark Twain. And that's from Entheos, at Entheos Shines. US Patriot, at US Patriot 41020, a 3-year delta. Shall we play a game? Find the spiders and build the web, the map. Remember, they consider you to be the fly, specifically the feeder. Remember, they never thought she was going to lose. Therefore, they never thought investigations and or public interest into their criminal acts would be exposed or investigated. Therefore, they never thought they had anything to fear. Therefore, they openly showcased their symbolism. Therefore, they were sloppy. Hussein's last speech in Chicago, RE, scandal-free. Why did he continually emphasize that phrase? As a backup, they infiltrated and controlled the narrative, the MSM. As a backup, they installed only those on the team. As a backup, they blackmailed those that aren't. As a backup, they defined conspiracy as crazy, mental, unstable, and labelling anything true as such. This works given most of what they engage in is pure evil and simply unbelievable. Hard to swallow. The fix has always been in, no matter which party won the election. JFK killed, Reagan shot. This was always the promise made to those who played the game, willingly or otherwise, i.e. they would never lose power. Power of the 3-letter agencies. Power over the US military, worldwide dominance to push against other nations and install like kind. These people are really stupid. Follow the husbands, another hint. Ian Cameron, McKinsey and Company, Clowns in America, Dr. Emmett J. Rice, Federal Reserve, everyone is connected. How about a nice game of chess? That's where 5D chess come in from. From Lynn Wood, again, steady. Just released emergency directive 2101 calls on all federal civilian agencies to review their networks for indicators of compromise and disconnect or power down SolarWinds Orion products immediately. Okay, this is from the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. Was that about the time that... No, this is before YouTube went down. And then I had that twice in there. So I'll just take Lynn Wood's one and I'll remove this from my... because there's no point in posting it down in the links twice. Okay, from N1 Nasty One, 5 years ahead of schedule, USA World. I don't believe that POTUS is talking about a vaccine here. I think it's more like the plan to take down the empire is 5 years ahead of the schedule. Because DJT says vaccines are shipped and on their way. 5 years ahead of schedule. Get well, USA. Get well, world. We love you all. Oh, I think POTUS made them play their hand 5 years before they were meant to play it. Did POTUS just play his trump card? Okay. Here we go. This is what I was saying. You can call yourself a doctor now. Hillary Clinton reckons that her name is Dr. Jill Biden. Get used to it. Sure, Hillary. And she lets her husband grope children on camera. The party that spent 4 years looking the other way at a first lady who married for money and did porn is now going to try and insult the incoming first lady for being highly educated. Okay. I won't get into that. I don't know. Okay, this is a really long video, guys. From Yig at Yig Star House. This can't be good. US Commerce confirms it was hacked. Treasury reportedly breached. Reuters reported early Sunday, citing anonymous sources, that hackers backed by foreign government had breached systems at the Treasury Department, which we know as well. I've put a couple of things I've put in there twice, guys. Oh no, what's going on? This is not good news, even for Indians. Cancel culture at work, because they're now going to cancel because of the name. Okay, it's somewhere between sad and amusing that people who have done absolutely no research into systematic corruption and subversion will tell you confidently that you are a conspiracy theorist and wrong. Cannot conceive of themselves being as victims of propaganda and programming. And it is a hard thing to realise when you realise it, and we all went through it. There is no one who has been alive from the day, awake since the day they were born. There are people who've been awake a long, long time. But at one point or another, most people do fall for mainstream news, what we're told, everything. From Prue McSqueen, just... I'm having trouble talking again. Disgraceful Transport New South Wales didn't do due diligence on a 53.5 million piece of contaminated land it purchased. We now find it's worth 15 million. Those responsible need to be sacked, and questions arise about processes and competence in that department. Well, I'll say they bought it for 53 million, 53 and a half, and now it's worth 15 because it's contaminated. And that is with taxpayers' money. Jeez, what a waste of space these people are. From Ron at Code Monkey Z, whoever thought hackers and NetSec specialists would be fighting at the front lines of the yet announced next major war? And there's a article from Reuters there. The CCP are not only trying to influence politicians and laws in America, they are influencing politicians in many countries, including Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and many more countries. I wonder how many of our politicians are on their payroll. I'd say that you would be lucky to get 20% of politicians that would be left if you got everyone out who was on the payroll. I'd say we'd have about 20% of our politicians left, if we're lucky. Dr. Digital Soldier, so everyone's starting to put the doctor up now, at Shaunt1973. Some people are about to get a quick update on what's been going on, and nothing can stop what is coming. Well, the people who aren't ready are just about going to be shocked into it now. I don't think there's any point in trying to wake people up anymore, guys. It's time to just get ready for when they do, to try and keep things as calm as possible. From Wayne Dupre Media, she's not a medical doctor, even though most Liberals think she is. She's basically a school principal. Jill Biden gets brutally mocked for calling herself a doctor. And just like that, the sheep turn into dogs. And it's a no from me. And boom, all in one. There are 20 governors with direct ties to the CCP. This is insane. And I'll put this link down below so that you can go and have a look and see who all... Like, I swear to our Father in Heaven that if you arrest all these corrupt politicians, you're going to have... I think it's lucky if you have 20% left. From Donald J. Trump, the drug companies are going crazy, putting up nasty ads against me, asking to withdraw my favoured nation's executive order. They don't want the US to have the lowest drug prices in the world, but we now will. Big reductions coming. No other politician would do this. America's been getting ripped off with their drug prices, and a lot of other countries have too. But I think in America, like the health system, especially even under Obama with his Obama care thing, that made it worse for people who had to pay for their health insurance. Rogan O'Hanley at DC_Drano says thousands of brave Americans stormed the beaches of Normandy under Nazi machine gun fire to fight for American freedoms. Fighting this election battle with every ounce of energy we've got is the least we can do to honour their sacrifice. Let's roll. Okay, I think that's about the end of it now, guys. Let me know what you think down below. I do apologise, it is a long video, but there was a lot of news, and there's even more coming out while I'm sitting here, I'm sure. So, and people are also saying that Barr had to do what he did. It's optics. That's why it looks like Barr's not doing anything, and I agree, it very well could be. I think we're just going to have to wait and see now, but no matter what happens, guys, and no matter what country you're in, stay calm. It's going to be all right. It might get rough, and the whole thing may go down. Okay? If it does, just remember there are people all over the world sitting in the same position you are in, and we need to stay calm. Okay, guys, all my love to you guys. Have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay, guys. Bye.